do something else. Watch someone for fun.
You'll find your viewers, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, gotcha.
Like some people really like correct gameplay. Some people like to watch someone who's chill and just gonna have a good laugh and muck around. Right?
Yeah,
100%. 100%.
Yeah, exactly.
There's guys that are like, you can make a brand off of being shit at video games, dude. And like, as long as you're like making it fucking funny, like, dude, when you were like, ping it, like, oh, dude, like, I lost my shit. I literally lost my shit. So like, you got to do more stuff like that, bro. Like, you got to.
Yeah, exactly it.
That's all you got to really focus on.
Yeah, and I think that's good with like things like Apex and Fortnite is you can get that random interaction, which is huge.
Oh, 100%.
Which is huge, and I think that's what a lot of like you see on Apex streamers, their biggest clips is when they're pissing off their teammate. That's a random or something normally, and it's like
Rez-Cast awesome at doing that. He does that on the regular.
Yeah, I'm normally the one that gets. Bro, I'm normally the one that gets pissed off. So a lot of people, everyone, when I was starting off, everyone just wanted me to get mad. They just wanted to see me get mad. And I'm like, why does everyone I'm just raging. And they're like, we fucking love it. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, just leave me alone. I don't want to be I don't want to be known as a rager.
You think back to Fortnite, like when Fortnite really took off, you had people like Della, who his whole Twitch persona was breaking fucking keyboards effectively.
Yeah.
And people love watching that shit. People found it fucking fun. He was getting like just under 10k views for the time period of time I was watching him. You know, it was averaging over 9k, between 9 and 10k would be his average.
Yeah.
More than I was watching it. People just find that shit funny. But also you get people who find that middle ground. But it's like someone like Nick Merckx, right?
Yeah.
Massive. And there's he's a controller player, right? So he's not going to get someone who's cracked on PC watching, right? He's going to get
he's nuts.
Give me two thumbs who's barely can hold a controller and barely can play games. And you got the good guys on controller, and you've got say average people on PC. That's mainly his market, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to find where you sit.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely know I'm not going to be a pro. Definitely.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's always fun.
But there's no harm also. I find when you're playing a game, right, there's no harm in wanting to improve.
Oh yeah, gotcha. I always want to improve. Like I'm trying to hit gold in Valorant. I'm trying to get there. And then Fortnite, trying to improve my gunplay a bit more.
Yeah.
Because so far every time we get a win, we're using the Dragon Ball equipment. It's like you don't really need skill to win that, but it's great content. So definitely trying, and like with Apex, I do want to get I want to get into that higher level with Apex and do that a bit more. I want Apex to be a bit more professional.
We should play with Bono more often then, because he's...
Bro, I want to. It's just we don't have the right schedule. He's playing at a different time, and he's normally ready to go to 3-stack as well, so...
I think he's changed his stream schedule because it was killing him, but because of his arm condition at the moment with his nerves, he's just, he's not really fit to be moving a mouse around, because he can't... I don't even think he can feel anything in that arm at the moment.
Yeah, I think you were saying that yesterday. Yeah. But like we're roughly around the same rank anyway, so it's no stress. It's not like he would be doing anything too different.
Yeah, he just hits nasty shots.
He does. I watched his stream the other day, I think, one of his later ones. He was nuts with it. It was insane. So I was like,
how's DayZ been going for you, Ridesy?
Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. We've had so I play like modded servers, because modded servers are just a hell of a lot more fun than vanilla. Vanilla's just ridiculously hard.
Yeah, well, that's where all the OG like players would play, right? Is on the vanilla stuff.
Oh, I've played, like, don't get me wrong, I was playing DayZ back when it was beta.
Yep.
So I've been playing DayZ on and off for years. And when they went from beta to what DayZ is now, they screwed over a lot of the community, a lot of the DayZ community. But the modded servers took off when they changed.
When you say they screwed over DayZ community, do you mean like what do you mean by?
They changed a lot of the core aspects of what DayZ was.
Yep.
For what it was in beta to what it was as it stands now are almost two completely different games.
Okay.
But then you look at DayZ as a standalone beta compared to DayZ, the Arma 2 mod.
Yep.
Two completely different games.
Yeah.
I can see what they were trying to do. They were trying to very much keep that Arma 2 feel about it, but try and bring Arma 2 into the 21st century. Like, they were trying to modernize a game that shouldn't be modernized.
Yeah, I get you.
Do you reckon they would have been better off going off the idea that DayZ is, but working off a modern engine, a modern sort of setup?
If they had kept with the idea they had when they were running beta and just used an updated engine, then yeah, 100%. A lot of people probably would have stayed with it. Like, I dropped off for a long time. And I've only just started playing DayZ again this year. So I left it for a couple of years because they changed it. I went to go back to it for a while, and it just, so much had changed from what I was used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the modded servers that would have made sense to have in vanilla. But then there's other things that also just don't make sense at all. But that's the joys of playing on a modded server of anything, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's modded servers that we really enjoy playing though. Like, so I got to play Galactic Contention on Squad. I managed to actually find a game before I uninstalled Squad. I managed to find a game where I could actually play it, and it actually was a lot of fun running around as a stormtrooper shooting droids and hearing all the sound effects, watching all the blue and red bolts going through the air. It was chaos.
With that mod, I think they hit a mark that what is it, Battlefront missed.
Yeah, well, that's what they were saying. Is like, this is everything that we wanted out of Battlefront, was like to be exactly like that mod. Because it's basically a simulator of Star Wars. Like, you're literally a stormtrooper running on the ground in the Clone Wars, and you're, well, not a stormtrooper, then you're a clone. But you know what I mean? Like, you're a clone trooper running around in the Clone Wars, shooting droids, and so many fucking Star Wars nerds are going to be hating on me for that. Because, like I said it earlier, I just said stormtrooper and fucking shooting droids. I didn't even think of it. I've been so used to, like, all the stuff being about, like, after episode 6 and shit, that it's like, I'm so used to seeing stormtroopers. But yeah, anyway. But, like, that whole experience of, like, you know, dragging a fellow comrade clone that's been shot, and you're dragging him behind a wall to revive him, and then you see, like, your friend come up beside you with, like, the massive minigun, and he just starts lasering into the crowd. Like, dude, it's just a different experience, trust me. It's so much fun.
Yeah, they did hit a market that should have been what Battlefront 2 should have been.
Yeah, 100%.
Huge.
Yeah. I never played Battlefront, but from what I've heard and what all the content I've seen about it, they really dropped the ball.
Yeah, they did.
The microtransactions was another thing that killed it.
Oh, 100%.
It's so annoying. I remember I reloaded it, and I went in, I was like, I swear I had all this stuff. But then it's like, oh no.
The thing about it, though, was they spun that around, but by the time they spun it around, the player base has already pretty much died off. And then they, a little while after they've spun it around and started getting better, they decided to cut content on Battlefront 2 and also Battlefield 5 for the making of Battlefield 2042.
Yeah.
So if they didn't do that, they may have done what was it Destiny 2 that started really bad and then spun around and now it's huge.
Yeah. They missed the mark and then they fixed their problems and everyone's happy with it now.
But it's too late because so many players like myself just never came back. So
yeah, I tried going back recently and it's missing something. I don't know if it's missing playing with people or what, because I did go back solo.
Yeah.
Going back to the Star Wars thing, that's why a lot of people have their doubts about the new Star Wars game that LucasArts and Quantic Dream are making.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people have already got their doubts about it being a good game, and it's had release dates pushed back a couple of times already, but that was due to personnel problems at Quantic Dream.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
I didn't even know about that game, to be honest. I'm going to have to look into that.
I knew Fallen Order was coming, and then that's it. I didn't realize there was another one.
To be fair, all the gaming market currently, you look across anything, you look across Battlefield, you look pretty much anywhere. You look at COD as well. Recently, the market has fallen down in terms of quality.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you're looking in terms of game wise.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be skeptical.
Yeah, actually, there's something Dr. Disrespect was saying. He said in a later video, he said that there's just nothing to play and we're all playing the same thing, just on a different
it's
platform.
reskins. Yeah.
It's the same game, but it's just different a little bit to make it enticing. So it's hard for content creators like ourselves to find something new and exciting because it's just the same crap all over.
I feel like that's why Rumbleverse was such a flop. Because I had high hopes for it, but it was just like a battle royale, but there's no guns. You just punch each other, and it's like, well, it's just another battle royale. Like
it reminded me so much of Apex. There's a map on Apex, and you can literally go into an arena, like a boxing arena, and you can't use your gun, so you got to punch each other. And I'm like, that's sick. It's a cool interaction, but I'm like, this Rumbleverse is virtually a bigger scale of that.
It's honestly a lot like Multiverse and Smash Brothers, right? So when the Multiverse hype came through and everyone was watching it and everyone was streaming it, I was sitting there watching React stream it, and I was like, this is literally just Smash Bros, just like different characters. Like, what the fuck am I even watching? Like,
bro, when I downloaded it and was playing it, I was like, I feel like I'm just playing Smash Bros. I'm like, it's cool that there's other characters and it's really cool, but it's still Smash Bros. It's
you didn't come up with anything original. It's literally a carbon copy.
It's still up Bs, all that crap still, and it's like, come on, just.
Do you think that we've just hit like a level of like content, like where like people have just made everything, and every style of game has been done that it possibly could be thought of?
I think so, and I think if someone invested a lot of time into VR and making it a lot more interactive instead of so robotic, I think that would be really good. Like,
have you seen the new haptic boot suit that they've made?
Yeah, that looks sick.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. If you go to something like Ready Player One and just make it that simple, like, yes, it's very technologically advanced, but the system itself is pretty simple. Like, you can literally do that, and then obviously let's try not to make it so we're on top of each other, but like, if you make it so it's that free moving,
I think the whole game itself would be the way to go. Just have like this massive multiverse where players just pay a subscription, and every game that comes out, you can just fly to that planet in your spaceship. where you can like warp there in the portals or like, you know what I mean?
There's a game that's out and it's still in beta, but it's like space based. And
you mean
insurance.
Is it Space Cadet or something it's called? I can't remember. No, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen, yeah.
Yeah, that's
that one. It looks really, really cool. And I'm like, that's cool. Like, you gotta get insurance and it looks really cool. And I'm like, that's awesome, but it's just too expensive.
And buggy.
It's beta.
Is that the one
it's really buggy.
Is that the one that everyone's been like using as an RP server almost? Like making RP servers out of it? Is that Star Citizen?
Yeah. Like I've seen some cool stuff come out of it. I've seen like a guy that plays as like an ambulance flyer and like he'll get like a random beep and somebody close on a close by planet within like a couple of light years that he can travel on his ship is like pinging for help because they're about to die and they've got no meds or something. And he can just warp drive, like run into his spaceship, get into his flight suit, get into the driver's seat. Then he like goes, like the seat like rises up into the cockpit. And then like you start your engines, you do your checks, everything. And then you freaking take off and then warp drive over to that planet. And then you've got to like follow his distress beacon and land and then go and find him and then bring him into your ship on your med bay. And it's a full-on simulator. Like, you can even be a bounty hunter in this game. It's like being in Star Wars, basically.
Yeah, it's sick.
Or like Guardians of the Galaxy is another way to look at it.
Yeah.
Like, you can be a space trader. You can, like, collect scrap and, like, sell scrap. And that can be your day-to-day job. You just go around hauling scrap. You can be a guy that... You can be bandits if you want to, but then you're going to get, like, you know, the bounty hunters after you.
I like to think of it as like Cowboy Bebop, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just cowboys in space.
You can just be that. Yeah, it's pretty much. Yeah, it's definitely really cool. I think Toby on the telly was streaming it a lot. I don't know if they still are doing it, but yeah, it's a pretty cool game, but it's just that upfront cost kind of detours. I think a lot of people, and it's only really for that high value streamer content creator that can use it.
Yeah, see, the problem is a lot of people are trying to make money rapidly fast, so they don't give like the days of handing out demos is just gone. Like, nobody can get like a demo that's like decently long enough that gives people a long enough time to play it. They go like, yeah, that's something I want to actually go and buy.
Invest in.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because like I remember having Halo 2 on a demo disc.
Yeah.
And also the Chronicles of Riddick and a couple of other games. And like you got you'd get 2 to 3 or 4 missions on a demo per thing. And like it gave you enough time to like get sucked into the storyline and like, you know, so you're like, okay, now I've got to go buy this. Like, I want to play this. This is something I really want.
A lot of games still do though with 10-hour trials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can download.
Yeah, the problem with those, though, is it counts down. A lot of them do. Like, it counts down even if you're not playing it. So, like, say you're a bit working man, you only get, like, maybe 3 hours in the afternoon, 2 hours in the afternoon, like you, Aqua, and that's all you get. Well, then you're only going to get, like, one day, like, one afternoon of playing that 10-hour thing, and then it's gone. And you get nothing else. Yeah. You know what I mean? That was my problem with Battlefield 2042. I literally played it for one day, and maybe 2 days, and then after, well, not even 2 days. It was like I got like the last 40 minutes in, so I like jumped on it and tried to get the last 40 minutes of the thing in. But my point is like I didn't get anywhere near as much playtime because I like downloaded it, started it at nighttime, went to bed, woke up the next day, went to work, and by the time I got home, I only had like 40 minutes left. And I was like, okay, well, now I can't even play it like for long. So that's the only problem with those. But I guess it's the same thing, but that's not enough time. You give people like, say you let them get to rank 20 or something like that, and it lets them like really get a feel for the game. And then as soon as they hit that level cap, it's like, okay, if you want to progress any further, you need to purchase the game. They're literally going to be like, okay, well, now I'm like sucked in, I'm invested, now I want to actually play it. Let me buy the game. That would be a better way to go about it, in my opinion.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a rough one. Hey, doing demos and whatnot. They don't know really. Yeah, like you said, everyone's got for money these days. Hey.
Yeah, it's just greed now. It's not even about quality anymore. Like if you go back to the days of like Bungie, like they spent 365 days, so an entire year at the office. They didn't go home. They all lived in the office, the entire team, and they took shifts in making Halo 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Right? And they were so far into making Halo 2 that the reason Halo 2 ended on a cliffhanger was actually because they ran out of time. And they had to meet that deadline. There was no like, oh, we're gonna put off the game for another year and we'll release it next year. They couldn't do that back then.
No.
So they made as much of Halo 2 as they could, but it wasn't a finished game. And the thing is that was my favorite Halo of all time. So it's like it wasn't even finished. Imagine if they'd been given the time to finish that game. How much like more refined it would have been, and like even more amazing than it already was.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
I mean, it was so like ahead of its time. That was like one of the first games to introduce ragdoll in dying. Like your body would just ragdoll. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because not many, like, you see ragdoll became very popular after Halo 2.
Yeah.
Because everyone, when they saw how they done it in Halo, everyone was trying to then emulate that.
Yep.
And that's what took off. That's actually a fairly good point, is Halo 2 probably would have been the start of ragdolling as we know it today.
Yeah, literally. 100%.
It all still looks the same. Yeah, it's just the arms go and legs go, and it's all the same.
There's a lot more refined versions of ragdolling now. But back in those days,
that was evolutionary.
Your body just lost all control when you died, and you just fell over. Like, that was, as Rez said, revolutionary.
Well, even evolutionary, because it's like the change of like gaming, like it like literally was evolving. So it's the same concept, same thing works. And like I remember, I remember going to Blockbuster. Holy shit! Shout out to Blockbuster, even though these don't exist anymore. It was either Blockbuster or Rest in Peace Video Easy. It was one of the two. And I went in to go and get a game because my mum was like, "Okay, I'll hire you a game for the weekend." So it was only those like 3-day rental ones, or like a 24-hour one, and she'd pay for it for 2 days. And I was like, "All right, sweet." I went in there and I'm looking around and I see this Halo 2 case, right? But it's not the Halo 2 case of like Master Chief holding the 2 SMGs. It's like 4 Spartans. 2 of them are red and 2 of them are blue, and the blue's got like the flag and like a warthog behind him with the other blue dude in it, and like all this other pictures on it. Like I can't remember exactly what it looked like, but like it was just not the regular Halo 2 case. So I picked it up thinking that it was like the next Halo, like the next part to Halo 2 or something. So like I was so excited, I was like literally fucking shaking, dude. Oh, hang on.
Yep. Bro, that would be really funny. Like, do you know how mad you'd be? Like, you read that out and then you go back, you put it into your like PlayStation or the Xbox, and then it's just the same game, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I remember the days of like Blockbuster and Video Easy, and
sorry about that, YouTube.
We used to go down to
my son,
like where I live now. I don't live far away from where I grew up, and we had a Blockbuster. It was a huge Blockbuster too.
Yeah,
we had that right near us, and like a lot of my earliest memories are playing video games with my dad. We used to go down there, and we'd go down there and we'd rent a game for the weekend. And we could just play it, and we both got the same enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, and that's huge.
That's a massive market that I wish we still had.
Yeah.
But that's more. I feel like sentimental value is the wrong term, but it's memories of an easier time almost.
Yeah. I think we got too greedy with gaming these days. We want it to be like we want our own screen, we want to talk to everyone and anyone, but at the same time be in our comfort of our own home. So like LAN parties are becoming less and less of a thing, and
well, yeah, they don't even support it.
Yeah, multiplayer games aren't split screen anymore. They're just one screen and you're just all looking at the same thing, which is awesome, but yeah, it's nostalgic. It's very nostalgic to think back of that. Yeah.
As
I remember Nintendo 64 007. That was a fun game to play with a friend. That was always fun.
Well, as I was saying before, like before my son woke up and was crawling off the bed, I like when I got that Halo 2 game home from Blockbuster, I thought, like I said, I thought it was the next stage of Halo 2 or something. And I put it into my Xbox, like we're talking original Xbox, we're not talking 360 here. And I put it in there and it goes, do you wish to install 8 new maps? And I was like, what? Like, and like no one in my, because like all my friends in the cul-de-sac, so we're getting to this LAN party part, right? All my friends in my cul-de-sac, we all had Halo 2. We all used to do System Link because I used my birthday money to get a crossover cable. So we could only do 2 Xboxes, but it was enough for like us to have little tournaments where like, you know, we'd get in little groups of 4 and have like little teams that would verse each other on Halo. And like, we used to set up the TVs back to back and like it was fucking cool. But like I took it back and I was like, you want to download these 8 new maps? And I was like, holy shit. And I installed them, dude. And then it's like, now put your Halo 2. And I was expecting like to be able to play it because like back then I was young. So like I'm just thinking, oh yeah, so it's like I get to play these new whatever on this new game. And it goes, no, now take out your like the disc and put back in your Halo 2 disc. I was like, what? Put my Halo 2 disc back in, dude. And we just got like all these fresh maps that like none of my friends had at all. And none of them had seen it. And like, I'm like, I literally asked Mum if I could use the telephone, like the home line, to call up and down the street, right? To like call my friends. And I'm like, guys, you're not gonna believe this. You've got to get over here right now. Bring your controllers right now. Everyone rides over on their skateboards and scooters and bikes and everything. They're all pulling up out the front of my house. It looked like a fucking gang was about to like rob Mum's house. You know, it was rocking up on their crew gear and everything. They're all got controllers around their necks and shit. And we get there and like, dude, we must have spent like the next 6 hours just playing these new maps, just trying new things, just put like there was like a terminal map where like a train would travel through the center of the map at a like in a pattern at a certain amount of time. So we used to drive like all the vehicles up onto the track and then like try and like sit in them and see what would happen, who'd get flung the furthest, who'd die, everything like that. Like it was so funny, dude. It was so much fun. One last thing. So
it's just like
Hang on, what were you gonna ask?
I was just gonna say, so it's like a DLC disc.
Yeah, pretty much. But I did like that was like the first generation of DLC that I'd ever experienced, was like getting a separate disc and putting it in. And I was like, okay, that's pretty fucking cool. And like, I was like, oh, you can take this back, Mum. I don't need it. And she's like, do you want me to rent another game? And I'm like, no, I've got new maps now. I'm good. I'll play these with the boys for ages. But what was I gonna say before that? Like, I was gonna add that like last little, gonna add one little thing there. Shit. Oh yeah. So did you guys ever remember the Scorpion tank and the Wraith tank? So that was like Halo 2 is the first time they introduced the Wraith.
Yeah, right? I remember Scorpion. Yeah.
Right. So you could get into a Wraith in Halo 2 on Xbox, and it was the first time that it ever happened. So we drive. What you used to do, right? And you can look this up on YouTube. Is you used to drive the tank, and we figured this out, by the way. This is before, like, you know, you could go on your fucking phone and just go, oh yeah, glitches in Halo 2, and just look it up and go, oh yeah, let's do this. Like that, and this is before patches and anything came out. Like, this is like OG days, right? So this is like friends playing the game to its absolute fullest extent to find little things like this. And this just happened by accident. It happened in the middle of battle. So like, my friend's driving the tank towards the Wraith, and he goes up on it. So like, he's like drives and he goes like this, right? And he goes up on top of it, and then my other friend hits the boost on the Wraith, and what it does is it makes the tank flip like this. Like, I'm talking full aggressive, so you can't even like see what the fuck it's doing, right? It's just like frames skipping and like going mental, and it's bouncing. So every time it hits the ground, it just launches back into the sky, and it starts to become like this ping pong action where it just like is bouncing off the walls, is bouncing off everything, and you're watching everyone run across Blood Gulch in like a no man's land death run, and these tanks are just coming down from the sky and like eliminating like 2 or 3 people at a time. And it was like the most fun we ever had, bro. And that was just like, yeah, it was before like even the Gamer Informer mags would tell you things like that. Like, nobody even knew about that thing, and now it's like you go on Google and there's like thousands of videos on it.
You don't even have to go on Google. You just have to do the game, and half the time glitches is like with the first or third thing that comes up is like Apex glitch. Apex is.
What was your guys' best glitch? We'll go one at a time. What was your guys' best ever glitch that you've experienced?
Oh God!
Because for me, obviously, it's the Scorpion tank, so I don't need to tell mine now.
Yeah. I think mine. You go, Akra.
I don't really have one, to be honest. Like, apart from stupidly falling through maps.
Yeah, that happens on the regular though, so it's not like it's not something entertaining. Like, if you were able to shoot people through the bottom of the map, like, that would be a different story.
Mine was a PlayStation 1 game. It was Monsters Inc. And you could go through the doors to different areas. I liked going to the snowboarding spot. And you'd go down a hill, and I'd go as Mike Wazowski, so you'd have like a Captain America disc and slide down this slope, and you'd have to do everything. Yeah. I remember I hit like a branch or a tree, or like 2 trees and there was a branch, so I like coat hanging myself. And I just shot right back up to the top and went flying. and I was just like this green snot ball going up this white snow. And I'm like, I was so shocked. I was like, what the hell happened? And I could never recreate it.
Yeah.
But it was the most random thing. And like, it went through walls and I just went flying, and like, it just went black. Because PlayStation 1. So it wasn't like you go flying out and you still see the map. It's if you went outside the map, it just went black. The game just went, nah, you're done. So I remember seeing that, and I was like, that is the weirdest thing. And I like tried it again and again, and it just like went, nah, you're out of a zone, reset. And I was like, I just got like slungshot all the way back. I was like, what the hell is that? And I think that was like one of my more first glitches that I've ever seen. And then after that, just this common stuff, seeing people through seeing people through the floor, or like seeing like this skeleton instead of their actual one. It's just those things.
The question, Ridesy, was what was like the best video game glitch that you've ever experienced? Like, what's your favorite video glitch of all time? Video game glitch of all time?
I managed. Oh god, this would have been early 2000s, like not long after Underground 2 came out.
Yeah, good days.
And I managed to break Underground 2.
Oh no.
There was like a greenhouse. It was like a greenhouse you could drive through. And I miscalculated it one day where I've hit a pole and then driven through the side of the greenhouse.
Yep.
And I spent ages trying to do that again, but just couldn't.
Yeah, that's a really funny one, isn't it?
Yeah, when you can't
Hey,
do them
like,
again, and it was a one-time
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
You're like, why is it not working again?
That was the beauty of the
Yeah,
Scorpion tank. You could milk it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've got one, like, I can't really count it as a glitch, but more abusing game mechanics. Do you guys remember, like, Battlefield? You just throw a bunch of explosives under a Jeep?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I did that. Popped the C4. I went flying inside the Jeep. It kills me on impact because I've just got a bunch of explosives under the vehicle that I'm sitting in, right? But the death cam, I just see this like Jeep just full smash into this guy who's like on the other side of the map, like on a rock, prone with a sniper rifle, and just smacks him. I'm like,
it'd be like, they threw
me,
a
I killed
chip at
him.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the vehicle. I got a vehicle kill.
Damn.
That's sick.
Vehicle kill.
He would have been so confused. He'd be like, "Oh, they're so mad they threw a Jeep at me. What the fuck?" And be like, yeah, fuck you for pruning and camping. Stop camping.
Speaking of like getting a heap of kills, right? I was watching one of Aqua's latest videos that he had on his YouTube channel. It's just a short clip, but he like literally throws one grenade. He's like on this hillside of this broken building, and all these enemies are coming up this ramp. And he's shooting, and he realizes that there's a shitload coming, and somebody pumps smoke right at the right moment. So he like sees it, goes to reload, and goes, "Fuck this!" Pulls out the grenade, turns around, and throws it through the smoke. And then he just gets this kill feed, dude, and it was just like that. And I was like, what the? Off one frag grenade, dude, you got like 8 guys? What the fuck is that?
And for those who played COD, and you get multiple, if you get a couple more than like, I think it's like 2-3 kills with a grenade, it comes up popcorn. Yeah, that's where I got it from.
Yeah,
Nice.
popcorn. Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah. It was fucking, it was a sight to behold.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember the first time I got a popcorn kill was I think it was Black Ops 2.
Yep.
I don't know whether it was actually called the popcorn kill back then, but it was Black Ops 2. It was the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
You needed a grenade down one side, bounced off a wall just around a corner.
Yeah.
And managed to get 4 people with one grenade.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Gotta love that
I
stuff.
just threw it because it wasn't my system I was playing on, so I was just pressing buttons to see what they did.
Yeah.
And like that was my first ever experience with Call of Duty since like Call of Duty Big Red one.
Yeah.
Like I hadn't played a Call of Duty game in a very long time, and then I had to go at Black Ops 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't play Call of Duty again until Modern Warfare 2019.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And then I played Modern Warfare. I got Cold War. Like, I waited for Cold War to be out for a while, and then I bought it once people weren't wanting exorbitant rates for it.
Yeah. I got Cold War on pre-order. I feel ripped off.
Yeah, I honestly think I still paid too much for it because it was, compared to Modern Warfare, it was so short.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it seemed almost unfinished.
Yeah.
I think
It
was.
probably
For a
was.
AAA title, it seemed almost unfinished.
It probably
Yeah.
was.
That's why I was a big fan of the Modern Warfare 2019. So when I heard that they were going to be using the same storyline, the same mechanics, more or less, and they were bringing back different features from older games, that's when I went, well, maybe this one will be all right. I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty, but like maybe this one will be all right.
Well, from past experience, I've learnt that I just can't. I used to say that. I used to keep telling myself that, and I learnt to just tell myself that to wake the fuck up and realize that it's just recycled garbage, and they're gonna keep giving you the same shit over and over and over again.
Well, I came to that same conclusion after Cold War, because like Modern Warfare was a good game, and that kind of
evolutionized the game.
Half restored my faith in it, and then Cold War just destroyed it again. And that's why I'm dubious about the new Modern Warfare.
I tend to do the same thing these days. I'm just waiting. I wait. It's really annoying because like we wait, and then obviously all that content is gone, so we can't be part of that new boom. But like, I'd rather wait and make sure that it's working than spending some money, like money that I really just don't have.
Yeah.
You know, it's just money we don't have, and we're not making all that, and it's not given to us or sponsored or anything sometimes, and it's not worth it in the end.
Yeah, and I think there's still kids out there that are like that, so I think that's why playing free games and showing like what like free games are actually decent is a good way of getting people to like, you know, because a lot of people look up for free. If you put that in as your search tag, people will go mental. Like,
I think that's where the Blood Hunt I think Blood Hunt, if it gets enough traction, it'll do really well.
Yeah. My opinion about the Blood Hunt though is coming in too late. Right,
it is.
BRs are dying.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And becoming more and more casual, and that's going to kill the market.
Yeah.
Fortnite's done it, right? Like, what made Fortnite boom was that skill gap. You'd see Ninja going off, and you're like, I want to be like him, right? Yeah. But then
a counterpart of all the battle royales at the time. Look at everything else that was out when Fortnite first became a thing.
Yeah, it was
Fortnite
PUBG.
was the free-to-play counterpart. That's why it took off so quickly.
Yeah. But there was nothing like Fortnite though.
No, there wasn't.
It's BR, but there's Fortnite with builds like until they recently got the
no
build mode option of no build. The option of no build. There was nothing like it.
No,
there wasn't. No. It was very unique.
It came out, and then Warzone came out just after Fortnite really took off. And then it was like the two different, like they were the two contenders for Battle Royale games, and they still kind of are.
Warzone came out a long time after Fortnite was around. Like, Warzone didn't come out until late 2019.
No, I said when Fortnite took off, like when it really
when Fortnite took off.
Yeah, when it really took traction, and then Warzone like came out, and then all of a sudden like it started like they were equal in like player base, and people were going mental for it because like I remember Blackout was shit. Like everyone was like, "This is so garbage."
I want a refund for Blackout as well. Blackout was dog water. It was so bad, and then But it was. I think it was good because Fortnite and Warzone, same game, but it was played differently. And I think that was a huge thing. Is people were so happy that it was played differently. You could play two different styles, and they're happy with that.
Fucking webcam.
Yeah, it's just dying.
Yeah, like I think now, realistically, the next sort of game. Like, we're starting to see the crawback of stuff like Valorant, right? There's been a couple other games as well that have built around that CSGO sort of vibe. And I feel like that is now on the climb a lot more. You see so many people playing Valorant. Overwatch 2 is around the corner, so it's something like that as well. And I feel like that is going to... That's where the FPS market may go for a little bit. People went to BRs, right? People tried BRs and BRs boomed, right? But that was after we were dealing with COD lobbies, sort of, you think back in the day you had Black Ops 2, fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's the market's going through this little weave of different areas and it's making its different stops. And I feel like that's its next location is going to be in those sort of 5v5s.
So team based. Like,
Yeah.
you need to work as a team and it needs to work together. So yeah, it's gonna pop off, but at the same time, people are gonna get so mad.
Yeah.
Because no one likes working as a team. No one likes working as a team. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because
Probably not in
There's
an online multiplayer environment unless you already know the people. There is no way in hell you are getting decent teamwork unless they're a sensible human being.
Yeah.
it's just never the case. It's always children.
It's always children.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you look at
Yeah, sorry, Aqua, you go.
you look at BRs, right? Amount of people who just do random films, right?
Yeah.
You're relying on those randoms. So it's the same thing, right? BRs are coming to decline, but they boomed. I'd say at least 95% of the people who played BRs, majority of the time, were solo queuing. And from what I've witnessed, right? So
Yeah, like I solo queue a lot.
yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I want to play with friends and it's fun like that. It's always fun to play with someone. You can take the piss out of each other, but it is rare to find that these days.
Yeah, 100%.
To find like a group of people that you can take the piss out of each other with.
Yeah.
Like Rez and I can play Fortnite and take the piss out and like screw with each other and it's fun.
Yeah.
But like if you do that in Apex or like and do Phil, they just get really, really salty.
Yeah.
They do. And it's like just relax the game. We're just trying to have fun. Like if you really, really want it, I'll give it to you. Jesus.
Yeah, you can link that back to streaming, right? You'll find your audience, you'll find your friends. You're not going to please everyone. You're not going to get everyone to watch your stream. You're not going to get everyone to be your friend, right? Like, but if you're willing to solo queue, you're willing to effectively, like, you're playing a game, you're trying to have fun, but you still look at it as you want to be, you want to professional in a way.
Yeah.
You have to hold a standard if you're willing to solo queue.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I remember when I first started streaming, I had a completely different group I was playing with. And we were good friends and it worked out and we were really well. But when it came to gaming, it just we didn't mesh well when it came to playing. Like we meshed well when we played GTA, but like not Warzone or anything. We didn't mesh well. Like some of us, I was goofing off and like trying to do stupid shit, and then some were like trying to be like the next esports team, and I'm like, we're not at that level yet.
Yeah, nah. Yeah,
and they were getting really, really mad, and then obviously some things that they were saying, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm out. Because I'm starting to try streaming. They did the same thing, but then what they were doing was just not going to help.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like I'm glad I saw it somewhat early and just went, yeah, I'm going to pull myself away. Like they're great guys. I would love to have met them in real life, though, in New South Wales. But for me to play the games and that's just like the type of friend that you only want to hang out with every now and again, not every afternoon.
Yeah.
Like where Rez and I'm like, every afternoon, I'm pretty much happy to talk to him. Every day, I'm happy to talk to him because it works. We seem to be doing well. So
yeah. All right. Well, real quick, guys, we're just going to take a quick word from our sponsor, Rogue Energy, and we'll be right back.
like it's Timmy playing Apex or Lemonhead playing Apex and other things, and then they play that game.
Yeah.
And they do like 100 hours playing this game, and sometimes some of them play that game already, and it's like they've got like 2 other people that are new. They just said to Fortnite, they've done Ark, they've done all that, and it's really, really cool. It's just rough doing 100 hours of content and then editing. Someone editing all that is a bit rough.
Yeah. Editing, it takes up a lot of time. So people don't realize. They go, I want content. So they record a 4-hour video, and then they go, oh, fuck, now I've got to sit here and fucking go through all of that. Which it turns to like 8 hours because you're sitting there siphoning through every minute, going to every little bit that you want to cut out, and like you can't do it quick. You can't.
I give props to the people
that are professional at it,
that have an editor. Like, damn, that, like, props to that editor going through like 8 hours of them streaming content and then they're recording it.
Yeah, like Tim the Tap Man's guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like whips and that. Yeah, I give props to them for like sitting there and editing. Because like I try and sit and edit while I'm in a call, and I have to just go, nah, I got to get out because it's so confusing.
Yeah, it is.
But at the same time,
yeah,
there you go.
I was watching a video not too long ago from an editor who edits for, and I can't for the life of me remember who it was. It just popped up as a recommended video on YouTube. The video from the editor editing for a Twitch streamer, going, a lot of the time when they're streaming, I'm sitting there watching with a pen and pad.
Yeah.
So I can take down timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
And take down timestamps of crucial moments or moments of like what the actual just happened.
Yeah.
An editor's work is not just editing. A lot of them are also moderators.
Yeah.
So a lot of them moderate for channels, spend a lot of time actually watching these people play. So they can pick up on their mannerisms and what they do and don't do all the time. It was actually a really, really interesting video to watch, and I'll have to try and track it down again.
Well, see, it makes sense because, like, the way Tim, like, with Tim's stuff, like, if Whips is just sitting there moderating and he's making clips and then saving those links and naming them for himself and just having them on a file where he can just click on these links and get the clips that he needs, it would make work even easier for you, really.
It'd be so easy. It'd be so nice.
I mean, not everyone does that.
No.
But, like, there's a lot of people, like average Joe like you and me, who have to sit there and don't have the time to multitask and be able to do that sort of shit.
Yeah.
A lot of people, we have to spend, say you record an hour's worth of footage, you spend then another hour and a half to 2 hours on top of that, sifting through and editing and publishing and...
Exactly.
You would quite often spend what would effectively be 5.5 hours on a 25-minute, half-an-hour video.
Yeah.
Oh, half the time it's not even that.
It's like, no, I mean...
It can even be it could be an 8-minute video. Like, I'm trying to do a Faz video, and it's going to end up being, probably 8 minutes. And it's got 3 hours of content going through it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, big bad, like, I guess that's Faz, though. That's a little different.
Yeah, it's like you're sitting there in silence for a long time.
A lot of games can, like games like Phasmophobia, where there is a lot of what would effectively be downtime, would be different to games.
Or dead air, as they call it.
Or even GTA Online.
Yeah, it's just
there's a lot happening in GTA Online in such a short time frame, but it depends on what genre you're trying to go for, what you're trying to put out as content.
Exactly, yeah, and it's rough as well because when you have all that dead air space and whatnot, you still got to sift through it because what if someone said something funny that you missed while you're recording? So
Yeah.
one thing that I try to do is I'll either keep notes and put a timestamp down, or an idea that I thought of is you just go into like your clock app and you literally just do a stopwatch. So you just, when you start recording, start and just go lap, lap, lap. And then you look at all those times and just go back.
That's actually not a bad idea. I never thought of doing that.
I just thought of that, yeah. So I was like, pull it up, do something funny, lap, and it'll tell me when it was. And I'm like, you know what? That'll be really good. The only problem is if you press reset, you're stuffed. You're screwed. Like, and you'd be like, oh, I gotta get through all this now. But even if you just had a mod that just did that, like if someone just sit there and went, funny clip, laugh,
even
laugh,
if you
laugh, and
went
then just send him the times. Went,
for the case of like if you're doing YouTube content and you want to do what I'm going to do, which is I'm going to upload if I have a really good round, right?
Yeah.
I'm playing Vanguard at the moment. Vanguard rounds are like 5-10 minutes, right? Not that long.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just going to do that. But you write down the time in the stream of, okay, this round started at 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So you have blocks.
I mean, that's something I could do, because the way I've got my desk set up, I'm not sure whether you can see it or not, but like just down here.
I thought he pulled up a vibrator.
Just on my desk is
just down there is a book. So I'll quite often have a notebook or something where, and I do this with games like DayZ or Car Mechanic Simulator, is I'll write things down.
Yeah.
And if I write them down, I'll put the pen down right next to my mouse. And if I hit the pen, I'll look at the book.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. I think that's really good. Yeah, it's really just finding that little...
Sorry, I got a bit distracted by my son crawling around.
Yeah.
Sorry. So what was it about the book that you were saying? Like,
so what I have... Yeah, what I have with the book is if I'm playing, like I have the book there for if I'm playing things like DayZ or Car Mechanic Simulator, or I even do it with Escape from Tarkov.
Yeah.
Where if I need something in particular, I'll write it down. I'll put my pen down right next to my mouse. And every time I hit my pen, I look down at my book.
Okay. Yeah.
So that could also be another thing going along the lines of what Ackle was saying of writing down timestamps.
Yeah.
And that could also be something you could do. But as we were saying, like each person is a little different. Like there's using the stopwatch, there's
whatever works for you. Hey,
it's whatever works for the individual person.
Yeah. I guess the problem with writing it down and hitting a lap time would be like if you forget like what exact time it was and you go to look back up and it's still going, you're like, shit. Like
yeah, that's where it gets stuffed.
You see, you run into those problems there, but for people like us, who it's just us doing everything.
Yeah, you can just ask.
If it's a rough timestamp, you then have somewhere to go off where you could go forwards 5 minutes, backwards 5 minutes. More often you write a rough timestamp down and you'd work backwards from that.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
That's pretty much what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But if it's a rough timestamp, you've got something to work off of, and hell, the timestamp you write down might even be better than what you were trying to write down initially anyway.
Yeah.
So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But like I'm saying, it depends on the person.
So I definitely feel that, like, I remember when I first started wanting to do this, I was like, oh, these guys make it look so easy. Completely skipping the mind that they've got an editor and someone watching their shit, writing, like time stamping it and making it easy. So when I started doing it, I'm doing like 3 hours of content and then I'm like, I gotta fucking go through this now. And I'm like, when do I have time to go through this? And this was just recording, not even streaming.
Yeah.
And I'm going through it and I think it was really funny. So I was like, oh yeah. And then you go through it, I'm like, oh, that wasn't actually that funny. It was just in the moment.
Okay.
So you're really harsh on yourself, but yeah.
I'll throw a topic up.
Go for
Sorry,
it.
yeah, I'll throw a topic up real quick. Have you guys noticed that when you get someone really funny on the stream, okay, right, and they're like, just they make an amazing video, like you get an amazing video out of playing with them or whatever it is, and then like for whatever reason, it is just impossible to get them back on for content. It's like the universe works against you to stop you from having that person back on your channel again. Have you like ever experienced that at all with anyone?
Yeah, back in when I was playing, so we go back probably 3 or 4 years. I was recording recording gameplay with friends of mine, and I was recording Rainbow Six Siege at the time. And I came across this random bloke that I'd matched with who was originally from Canada. And I played a few games with him over the span of about a week. And then I could never get him back.
Yeah.
Because he's just... And some of the content we got with him, like, there's a running joke between me and a couple of my friends of two birds, one buckshot, is we were scaling up a wall trying to get in through a window, and I've just gone, for shits and giggles, I've just fired a shotgun round straight through the window and I've nailed 2 people.
Oh.
And
Happy Gilmore.
Let's go.
And that has been a running joke between me and a couple of my mates for so long. We were there that night, and some of the comments that were made, we can't get those people back. It's either they've stopped playing games, they've moved somewhere else where we can't find them. They've just dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, literally.
And I think that's the beauty about some things is when you play with randoms, and it's just that golden clip.
Yeah.
It's just that golden moment, and it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And obviously you want it back because it's really funny. But at the same time, that has such a beauty about it that it's a random clip that's just thrown in there. It's just a hidden gem.
See, for me, it's Bono, right? But like the good thing is that Bono and I are such good friends that we try to make such a big effort to make content together, right?
Yeah.
But like the universe just has a way. Like he was meant to be on a video with us a couple of days ago, right? And he was getting ready to come make Faz videos with us or something, and then his friend rocks up, or his nan falls over and has to go to hospital, or like he ends up in hospital, or like, and it just keeps. It's like the universe is trying to stop us from making like these amazing, hilarious videos together that I'm like wetting myself laughing making with him, like and it's rough because we love doing content together. We don't get sick of each other.
No. Yeah, it's definitely something. Bono is a golden goose egg right there, I think, definitely. And I remember watching his stream, and I was like, I want to have him a part of at least one video.
Yeah, 100%.
And just see how we go. It'd be really cool to see if it worked.
As Bono said last night, like I've known him for God knows how long now. And I remember when he first started streaming back in the day, where he was still running under the tag Bunnings for Snags.
Yeah.
And I remember him actually getting that cease and desist order from Bunnings.
Really?
I forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Getting a cease and desist order from Bunnings. And Bono was a very large part of the reason why I started streaming to begin with.
Yeah.
Because like some of the shit he was doing, I'm just like, I want to do that. I know this guy personally, so I know it's achievable.
Yeah.
Like I can do it. And Bono was like, ultimately, Bono's the reason I know you guys.
Yep, literally.
Like, I know you guys. I know the village. I ultimately, Bono's the reason I know a lot of the people I do now.
Yeah, and you got to know that community to even get anywhere with
Yeah.
anything in this industry.
Oh, it's hard doing a solo, man. It is so hard doing a solo. I've been doing a solo for like, I'd say 2 years now and whatnot. And you get no traction really, unfortunately. But once I got introduced to the React team and then you got and everyone else, it's become a lot easier to do it as well.
Well, I was thinking that, like, I was literally like saying to React or Aqua yesterday, I was like, see, the thing is in a span of 3 to 4 days of having Tatted on the team now that he's back in at full swing, and then picking up velocity, you can actually see the growth and the change in numbers, right? Like, so to Aqua, it might not seem like it because he got raided twice, whatever. Like, the way you talk about it, that is, to me, it sounds like you're like not that amazed by it. But like, to me, what it shows is that like, look, like Vel went from 50 followers to 95 in a span of 3 days. In 3 days of being on the team. You know, Tatted went from getting 1 viewer stream, which is usually himself watching the stream, right? He'd get 1 viewer to now he's averaging 5 to 10, sometimes more, depending on if one of the members raids him, right? And then for me, like, coming back at the same time and like everyone's streaming, everyone's pumping out content and stuff, there's been like a real traction following of the team. And I'm noticing that it's not just one member, because if anything, React Gaming itself isn't getting anywhere near as much attention as its individuals. It's individuals are what's making names for themselves right now, which is what the team's intended for, right?
Like, look at, so that's almost like, look at the Misfits, for example.
Yeah.
Look at the Misfits as individuals. The Misfits as a crew haven't really grown all that much. But look at the individual people within the Misfits. They've all, I wouldn't say skyrocketed. A lot of them were all fairly popular before the Misfits came about. But they've all grown as individuals. The Misfits as a crew is just the collective. It's exactly like React. The individuals have grown, but the team itself hasn't gotten as much recognition as it should.
Yeah, 100%.
I would say that comes down to the fact that, like, yes, they do collaboration streams, but they don't do that much content for the channel. Like, when was they only just recently posted a road trip.
3 days ago, it was nearly a 2-hour-long video. I know that because I only watched it yesterday.
Like, they've got, like, they're not doing too bad. Like, they got, they did the 5 day ago video, and then the video after that was a year ago.
Yeah.
So it's like, Misfits isn't going to blow up.
Post. But as individuals, like, I know iNotorious was in Japan for a while. Toby on the telly went back to New Zealand. Mason went, aside from his own personal issues, he spent a long time away for his own personal issues.
Like, was going back and forth between America and Australia,
it's God knows what Fitz is doing, but
he looks so different now as well.
Fitz is so different now compared to what he was back in the early days of the Misfits.
He was.
And Fitz, ultimately, to me, Fitz is the one that's changed the most, and it's not necessarily for the good.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. I
was surprised how short Swagger Souls is.
he's tiny, man. And
He's so small, especially when he's standing next to Josh and everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
But, like, they all stream, they all do everything they used to, but they also then take the time to do these collaborative projects every now and then.
Yeah.
One thing that still sticks with me that kind of brings the Misfits out as a collective was right in the early days of the podcast, they told the Poland story.
Yeah.
That was huge for them. That was huge.
Huge for them.
It was.
And then the Poland story, like, really kind of, it trailed off after the Poland story. They hit a bit of a dead end for a while, and then they all came over to Australia, and then it all picked up for a while, and then everyone dispersed again.
Yeah.
I think they just ran out of stories, didn't they? Because they weren't doing much. That's the problem. They were just grinding.
They ran out of content.
Yeah, they did.
And they didn't become sellouts, but it looked like it was starting to go that way.
Yeah, with gamer subs and that.
But
like, we're talking, yeah.
Or not necessarily with gamer subs, just as a collective, they started to seem like sellouts. They were doing every little last thing they could to get a view. Like Chad, anything for views.
Yeah, he literally does anything for a view.
He will literally do anything for a view. But what Chad's doing with Max Mofo, who is also someone who dropped off the face of the earth for a very long time and then just appeared again. Yeah. But it's working together as a collective for Cold Ones is a good thing.
Yes.
Misfits as a collective aren't doing much anymore. But they're all working with each other on individual projects.
Yeah.
And I think that's what like Sidemen have hit the mark. They've done something like they do a weekly video. They have a tight schedule, they stream, record, and then they do a video once a week together where they gotta make content.
So this is where Cards Against Humanity, games that are free that we can all get, because not all the members of React yet are on like full wage or anything like that.
Yeah.
So like getting those games that like the Cards Against Humanity one that I found for the video last night. Yeah. That's really good because we can get the entire crew in and we can make collab videos, and then everyone can just record just their webcam and then send that into React, and then they can add it to the video and just have everyone's webcams on the corners or whatever they want to do. And then that's how we can, or you can like cut to different webcams when people are saying certain shit, whatever you want us to do. Like, and this is where it's all leading to. I just got a message from him before that the website's not going to be finalized till the end of 2 weeks. But it's like I can look at it, but not many other people can look at it yet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I think that's like the Sidemen do is like say if we do a Cards Against Humanity, it may not be something I want to do. I got to suck it up and do it for the team, right? And that's what it is.
You just got to make the most of every moment, right? So like I was not interested in playing Valorant at all. I still haven't even touched it, right? No. But like when it was going to be the group of us before we found out it was region locked, the excitement I had was to be with the crew. That's what I make it about. I don't make it about what we're playing. Fuck what we're playing. At the end of the day, if I'm there for my homies and the guys that I'm working with, and I'm there to have a good time and make some laughs, even if I hate the game, I'll just talk shit about it in a funny way the whole time with everyone. You know, I can be a sarcastic asshole the whole game and make people piss themselves laughing. Like, it's just like people got to learn to work with the moment, right? So not always be about what we like, because I don't like playing that much. But we could definitely make a hilarious... but we could make a hilarious game. You know what I mean?
We could.
I was thinking about doing Pictionary for the React team videos. Like, I think that would be really fun. Get like a Pictionary game.
Stuff like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. It's just if you don't want to do it, but we need you, suck it up, do it. You know, and just put your all into it, because then what if they come up with an idea that I don't want to do, you know? I'll suck it up and do it because they did it for the video idea that I had.
Yeah. You
know, so
if we've all got that camaraderie, dude, it's literally going to be
exactly
easy.
it. And that's a huge thing. And like
just so you know, for you guys, if I was hungover or if I was fucking, you know, I'd been out drinking the night before, I'm absolutely smashed, and you guys are like, all right, we're starting a video at 7 a.m. I need you there. I'll be there. I'll be like talking about how fucked I feel and like all this shit. Yeah. But like, I'll be there. It's like at the end of the day, I'm just gonna reset my webcam
as well.
Like, look at how much that worked for, and again, going back to Misfits, how often, like, Swagger was high or Mason was off his face.
That's just a regular for me, though, like, and probably Aqua and a few other members now. Like,
it was the other side of the equation. They'd gotten absolutely shit-faced the night before and woke up 3 hours later because they were all making content with people who were in other countries.
Yeah.
Or they had left the party, were still pissed, and were making content because that's the one time that everyone as a collective was together.
Yeah, 100%.
That's huge. Yeah, it's really just put in the work. Like that's a huge thing, and that's for anyone that's wanting to start a team or whatever it is. Make sure you put in the work.
Yeah, and especially if you're an org owner, make sure, I'm adding to this, make sure that you're putting in the work, but you're not forgetting about your individuals, because each streamer is still a human being. It's not a profit for you. You're meant to be catering to them. And I do think React has been doing a good job. Like I said, I think he fell off the ball a little bit, but it was just because of circumstances. It was just things like members joining and then leaving, or like people joining and then not keeping up to what they were promising and things like that. So he like really became very strict, and I guess it was a very much needed process or necessary process for that to happen, so that he learnt to like be picky with who he's getting, so that it doesn't happen again, but also so that we're not just taking on any Joe that comes to us on Twitch that says he wants a chance. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I know a couple of people who have been like being watched, like scouted for like a month or if not longer, and before a decision's even brought up or made. Like, it's literally just we literally monitor what these people are doing, how they interact with their chat, whether they're like a positive outlook on their community or they're one of those negative assholes that's going to talk shit all the time, right? Because we want to find people who are going to match our personalities, so that when we're making content, we all collectively get together and work good together, right?
Yeah.
So
I can get behind the like having the right personalities together. That's kind of why, like, admittedly, I was a little surprised at first when Rez was like, yeah, come round. And then I actually went and met Rez in person, and how similar of a personality we have. Mm-hmm. Like, we're not direct personalities, because I've often found if you've got the same personality as someone else, you'll clash with them.
Yeah, we just enjoy the same shit.
Do the same thing at the same time. Slightly different personalities, or personalities at opposite ends of the spectrum, often work quite well as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Ridsy and I were just into a lot of the same things. Like, we like watching the same videos, the same sort of like conspiracy theory stuff. Like, we like looking at all the same stuff.
I enjoy watching and that's what got me hooked on Rez to begin with, because a lot of the times he was doing like the ghost hunting videos, and the haunted houses and all that kind of crap. Well, while I'm not a firm believer, it's content that I enjoy watching, and that okay, this is interesting. Like, this is something I could and would quite happily learn more about.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's like
that's why we molded so well.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's like with that like whole I'll say it's my niche because that's what I'm known for. It causes it's a lot of controversy behind it, right? So like people naturally want to talk and ask questions. You get skeptics that come in and say it's fake. You ask them to fight the argument because it's easy to say something's not real and not have anything to back it up and just say no because look at it, it's not real. But that's just you gotta when you get to that point, I don't even acknowledge people like that because it's just pure stubbornness, right? If you're open-minded to something and you go, okay, well, show me the evidence, which is how Rides is. He's like, show me the proof, show me like, and you know, it might change my mind. Like, just like we'll see how it goes, and it's like a friendly discussion.
See, that's how I am. Is like I am. While I don't believe in a lot of things, and like I'm quite happy to sit there and be proved wrong.
Yeah.
I am 100% happy to be proved wrong, and I will admit that if I've been proved wrong, I will admit that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why people like. What did you do, Rez?
You change your camera.
Yeah, I'm just resetting it because it keeps doing that little green flashing thing.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, sorry, like as I was saying, like Rez, he took the time to. I remember one of the first streams of Rez's I watched was like a ghost hunting stream. He was sitting there in Just Chatting, watching some ghost hunter videos. Don't expect me to name who it was.
Probably Mindseed TV.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, they're my favorite channel.
It was something to do with like a rail yard or something.
Yeah.
Or like a part of the video was a rail yard. But I sat there and went, well, how can this be possible? And he took the time to go, well, this, and this is how it goes. This is what happens. And I sat there asking questions and just going, how is this, like, how is this possible? How does this work? What is the evidence surrounding this?
Yeah.
That's also part of the reason we melded so well is because we both take the time to go, look, this is what it is. This is how it happens. This is what's involved.
Yeah.
Believe it if you want, but this is what I stand by.
Yeah, so I never tell someone, hey, like, you're wrong. I'll say, look, I can show you evidence. I can show you proof of what I'm talking about. It's up to you whether you want to reject that information or you want to take it in and then sit there and think on it yourself and investigate it further yourself. Like, I am never forcing onto anyone, like, because I'm spiritual, so I don't force on God on anyone. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I just do my own thing and I let people figure things out for themselves. And if I'm that stepping stone for people to find that whatever they're looking for, then like that's what I wanted to be for people. And that's so good hearing that coming from Ridesy, because like that was a big part of why I wanted to start streaming, was to like reach out to people like that who were similar to me and just like could sit there and question things and not get like emotional behind it or get like worked up or like, and not to sit there and tell each other, no, you're wrong. Like, it's not like that. It's like, show me the evidence and I will admit I'm wrong. Like, I always admit if I'm at fault, or if I've given misleading information or if I've done something wrong, I will, 99% of the time, I will own up to that. Like, so to sit here and listen to Razi say that, it means a lot to me, because it means that like, what I was trying to achieve, what I was trying to reach out and doing and educating people in something that not a lot of people talk about. They all think it's cool to go and investigate it, to look at it, to do all the investigating shit and being scared and all this crap. But nobody's being taught how to defend themselves from it. Nobody's being taught how to, if you're going to investigate, how to do it safely, and what the rule set you should be sticking by, and what your parameters should be, and the warning signs if something's getting too crazy or hectic, or and I provide all of that information, and it's information that I don't think a lot of people hear, and because people are so used to, the 9 times out of 10 people come up to me and they go, "Oh, so you do ghost adventures?" And I just roll my eyes at them. And I don't mean it. It's just I'm so sick of hearing that one particular group because it's on TV. You know what I mean? It's they just watch that and they just accept that, and they don't go and dabble in research or do anything themselves. And there's full demonology websites out there that can teach you so much that you want to know. It's just people are lazy nowadays. So if I'm going to be that guy that can pass all this wisdom on that all of these great demonologists like Ed Warren and a bunch of other people have left behind, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to try and pass on that legacy a little bit. I can't exactly teach swimming through the fucking screen. So, that's the next best thing that I can fucking do, right? So,
there's the other end of the spectrum, too, is you can show people the evidence, right? Let's take accusations when you're playing a video game. You get called a cheater, right? You can provide evidence proving that you are legit.
Yeah.
But people are wired that stubbornly that you can go, "I know all these things, here's a bunch of knowledge," and they go, no.
It's straight up reject it. Yeah. It's like a toddler with something in its mouth that it doesn't like. It's just
no.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind when you say that, Aqua, and I hate to turn it to religion, but Christianity. I'm trying to keep an open mind because my fiance's parents are Christian and she was raised Christian. So I'm trying to keep an open mind, even though I know it's all a bunch of baloney. But I'm trying to keep an open mind. And I try to keep an open mind about as much as I can, because that's the best way you can learn information and make choices for yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of the Christians, people who have been brought up Christians, who still go to church, who still believe in it, are fairly open-minded in the grand scheme. It's the people who are born again.
Oh, yeah, born again Christians, yeah.
It's, if you blindly follow something like that, so blindly follow it, and don't accept anyone else's options or thoughts, it's, you're a toddler. Because you're not accepting. And, I used to be like that a little bit, trying to deny the whole spiritual stuff and everything like that. And then talking to Rez and trying to be a lot more open-minded, and that he's definitely made me intrigued about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see what you mean, with religion, and that people so blindly follow this specific religion that doesn't add up. It doesn't add up, and it's
I agree.
A bit wrong. And
I agree, but I also think it's because the religion's been associated with a book of control, which is what I like to call the Bible, right? Is a book of control, because they put in a lot of stuff into that, and that book's been altered quite a lot of times. I think over 15 times the Bible's been changed by man. So it became Chinese whispers at that point. And I started learning the basics that they're saying. So the main basics that they stick around. So for instance, God is understanding and loving forever. As long as you own up to your mistakes and ask for forgiveness, rah, 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 rah. See, to me, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But then me getting a tattoo is going to send me to hell. Yet there's literally warriors in the Bible that have tattoos.
Yeah.
So, like,
the Bible to me is just a bunch of it's a bunch of malarkey. A lot of it's double standards.
Yeah, well, this is where I was getting at, right? Is it's like the Bible literally is like, in my books, man's word, their rules, their way of controlling. So, for instance, sex before marriage, I believe that is like their way of trying to control overpopulation, right?
Yeah.
Or because there's always been trying to have a control on how people, like how many kids people have and everything. It's always been there right throughout history. It's always been something that they've tried to control. So
definitely it is.
You know, what better way to do that than using religion to like preach that to people, right? And if people are sheep and they're just going to follow anything without actually thinking for themselves, then it's going to do what it's supposed to do, right? But then people who have like got that power to sit there and go, well, see, that makes sense to me, but that doesn't line up with this. So you're contradicting yourself here, and you start like deciphering the Bible and the textures and the scriptures. And there's really good things that you can take from that as life lessons to like carry with you to like become a better person in general. And then there's a lot of it that's like Rides's saying is just straight up garbage. And to me, if a God is all about love and empathy and respect, then to me, like, half the shit that is said about him just doesn't really line up, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I know that there's an afterlife, and nobody can doubt, like, even change my mind, because I have literally experienced things like, you know, a flashlight being on the ground. Nobody's near it. Nobody can touch it. And we go, can you turn that torch on for us to show that you're here? And then, like, not even 2 seconds go by and it flickers on, you know, and then you say, thank you very much. Can you turn it off for us now? Turns off. Like, you can't sit there and tell me with something I've just witnessed with my own eyes, with no one standing even remotely close to that, with everyone's got their hands up like this, and it's happening. Right? So it's like, you can't fake that shit, right? There's just no way to fake that. So in my books, I know that there's an afterlife. I know that there's demons, and you can't have like one side, because like people have been attacked, people have been possessed. Like you can go right through the Ed and Lorraine Warren files. Like they've got full evidence, recordings, everything that like can back everything up. And if you're gonna sit there and tell me that a lady who could literally sit there and hold your hand and like mention a grandparent that died like 20 odd years ago in your life, and mention something that they always used to say or do, and they've just met you, like you've got to be stupid to not think that or not realize that there's something there, right? Because how could that lady know that?
Especially if it's not researchable.
Exactly. If it's something,
that's a huge thing. Is like so many people are like.
That's why that guy Nardwar or whatever his name is, that guy that interviews rappers I swear he's a medium. I swear that's how he knows everyone's crap.
Shit.
Right? I swear that's how he finds things out. Is he's a medium, so he can take a dip into people's lives.
It's the guy that like goes and dresses up as like a nerd almost.
He dresses up like a
Scottish man back in like the 70s.
Some of the stuff he comes up with, and he pulls out, like, yes, a lot of it can be prior research, but some of the stuff you just can't find anywhere, and he pulls it out of his ass almost. And the genuine reactions of these people are like, how did you know that?
And what I love about it is he's doing it to people that try to hide some things. And you can see that they're like, who are you working with? Because you should not know this. And like so many rappers are like, are you with the police? Because they're like, you know way too much. You probably know something else that'll get me in trouble.
This is where it comes down to: is it really that hard?
Yeah.
If Lorraine was considered viable information in the courts in that case where that man murdered his friend and like literally swore to God that he's seen a giant beast coming at him and that's what he was stabbing, which is a form of possession, right? If he's swearing by this, they're doing all these tests on him, like everything, and Lorraine's in the courtrooms arguing that it's demonic possession that was the cause for it, and they actually then get past, and that's what the verdict was demonic possession. You can Google it. It was literally the first case in human history where demonic possession was actually used as a viable excuse as to why he attacked and murdered his best friend out of nowhere, just randomly.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. I think it's really huge that, like, if we're going to be so accepting about so many things, we need to be accepting of these things that we don't want to be comfortable with.
I just don't understand how people in their righteous mind can sit there and go, okay, well, so we die and that's it. That's nothing. There's no purpose to me being here. There's terrifying. No, like, dude, that's so, it's so wrong. And it's like, from all my experiences with the paranormal, it's so far-fetched. Like, like, when people come and tell me that, 9 times out of 10 on the inside, I'm laughing hysterically, and I'm like, "Well, aren't you in for a treat?"
Like, can you imagine those people?
Yeah, I can understand that, and I like while I said I'm not a firm believer, I've had experiences myself where I've gone. Like, you know how people talk of like getting a sense of deja vu, where it's like, but I genuinely, I can walk into a space and go, I've been here before, having never been there before in my life.
Yeah.
Like, I can go there and be like, look, I know X, X, and X about this location, and I've never walked in there before.
Yeah, see, okay, with reincarnation though, I can't even give you a solid bit of evidence or anything. Like, the spirits don't even, like, when you do use your spirit box or your technology that you use to communicate with them, you can ask them these questions, dude, but you never get the answer. Like, you just never get an answer about reincarnation. It's like the one thing that you can't learn about.
I'm not a solid, like, I don't want to say I don't believe in reincarnation, but like,
but then there's like that little kid that
believe it, but like I'm not discrediting that it isn't a thing.
Yeah. Me either. But that's like, what I mean. Like, it's just really hard for me to answer it because, like, I don't have evidence.
If you can't answer the question doesn't mean the question isn't true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Because, like, there's that story of that little boy, man, who's like 7 or something, and his whole life from like the age of 4 onwards, he was speaking like correct, proper sentences, clear as day, from the age of like 4, and he's telling his parents what plane he was in, what battle he was in, where his plane was shot down, what happened afterwards in full detail. And they went and looked it all up, and it all actually happened. And like, his name was Charlie, and back in World War II, his name was Charlie as well. And it just like kind of like, that's where I was like, okay, well, what the hell? But I'm wondering if maybe if it's like a deal that you make with like the entity, like the higher power, or like something like that. It can't just be a common reoccurring thing that you just keep getting recycled. You know what I mean?
Like, and you look at, take a lot of the rock stars, for example, like a lot of the big rock stars like Alice Cooper, Ozzy Osbourne, and I was watching a movie called American Satan, and there were excerpts at the end of the movie, genuine excerpts from people of a lot of the old rockers who genuinely believed that they were possessed by the devil or a devil-like entity.
Mm-hmm.
and that explains a lot of the things they did back then. You go and look at a lot of the shit they did and try to explain it in a rational human sense.
Yeah, and you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's one of those topics that you
Yeah.
could sit there for fucking hours upon hours upon hours talking about. And you
could
will
go
just
down the
never.
back.
Yeah. Like it's like I can show evidence of that you live on after you die. Apart from that, I can't show much more. I mean, like I can get a demon that'll come through the spirit box that'll threaten to kill you or like threaten you in a very dark, malicious way. But that's the only kind of evidence that you literally can get that like demons and angels exist. Like I've spoken to angels through, well, what I believe to be angels through my spirit box because I was getting direct responses. Like I'd ask and it was like instant, like, and it was a full sentence. It wasn't like just like the usual little words. It was like a full sentence that I could hear clear as day in real time. And when you hear something in real time, that is like the golden ticket. Like that is like something that like really solidifies that something's talking to you right now. And it's not just, you know, and I've used many different devices. I've used yes and no devices as much as like just like an EMF detector that literally is just used to pick up wires and walls. And you just turn it on and you just get them to touch it. And because we ourselves are energy in our spirit form, like that's why the human body conducts electricity and they can't really figure out where it comes from. That's your soul. And that's like what like energy is like when you die. So like it would make sense then that that electricity, that energy would make people's who are alive, their hairs stand up on their arms or their neck. It would cause electronics to turn on or off or to be manipulated with. It would also, because like, let's face it, the lights being turned on and off is like the number one thing that you see in any horror movie, but it's also the number one thing that happens in paranormal investigations because that and your batteries being drained, like just siphoned, like within seconds or minutes of like having a full charge on this everlasting battery that's meant to last you like 6 days, and it just gets drained. And that's just them. That's them using that energy. You can't explain a fully charged, long-lasting battery that's like designed to go for a full week without being recharged for a video camera just dying within 20 minutes of a recording. Like you can't explain that. There's no way. And then they reload the battery and then like another 20 minutes later that replaced battery, which is the exact same battery as the first one, does the exact same thing. Right? Like there's not.
I'd be pissed, man.
But it happens so much. That's why they have so many cameras, because their technology gets fiddled with and the power gets drained, and like it happens to everyone who's in the industry. Anyone who does paranormal investigating, that's a regular occurrence is to have your batteries drained, especially on your phones.
Very true. I do apologize for yawning throughout this. I'm not tired.
No, it's okay, dude.
I'm just exhausted.
It's all right.
Sorry.
You're going to have to get used to holding V so that you mute when you yawn.
We touched base on a few things to do with paranormal and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
What is everyone's view on fortune, like seeing your future or glimpses from your future?
So do you mean like psychics? Is that what you're getting at? Like a psychic or?
Well, I've personally had instances where I've seen like snippets of what happens in the future. Like
so a vision, like
effectively, yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I've had visions. I can list one really quick. I was going to go be doing a drive up to my parents' house when I was living down in Brisbane. And it was the night before and I was asleep and I had a dream that there was a cop on a motorbike sitting there with a radar gun at this certain spot at this certain bridge on the highway. And the next day, sure as fucking shit, I'm driving and I'm like, I'm going to back off just in case. And sure enough, he's right exactly where I fucking envisioned he was going to be sitting.
Yeah, that's really interesting because I get dreams on the occasion and it doesn't happen like the next day, but like it could be a week later, a month later. And I'm like, I swear I've like seen this or experienced this already. And there's like, and it's word for word, experience for experience. And I'm like, what is it? It's nothing dangerous. It's nothing like a warning. It's purely just conversation half the time.
Most of the time, it is a warning.
I've had something, and I've had this happen my whole life, where I've seen in a dream, it can be anywhere from, it could either be the next day, it could be a week, a month, 3 months into the future, where I've had something happen in a dream, and like Turtle was saying, word for word, I can place that exact point in that exact time frame to that exact moment. I've had that happen to me my whole life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I've had moments like Rez has said, where like he's envisioned the cop on that bridge, so he's backed off a bit. I've had those moments where I've gone, or I don't know where anyone else has experienced this, but I've in very similar situations to Rez, where I've been speeding along to get somewhere, and then something's told me to back off, and I've gone through that point and gone, I've seen this bit before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had that recently too.
Something else has told me to back off.
Yeah.
And like, compared to going back to saying very recently, the Cards Against Humanity game we were playing last night.
Yeah.
There was one moment where we could see the fact that where people had dropped out.
Yeah.
There was one particular round where all the answers were visible. I had seen that before. I knew that already, and I sat there for a moment in, I mean,
disbelief.
I hadn't, because I've experienced it for so long, it's not disbelief to me anymore.
Yeah.
You just go, I've seen this before. How the hell does this keep happening?
Yeah, that's very interesting. Like, I don't know if this is just I got some brain damage, but when I had when I had my accident on the boat, something told me to like go stand between the driver and the passenger while we're going to our next spot and just hold on to the bar that's there. So I'm like right next to them because I went, something's going to go wrong. And I tried to ignore it. And I sat on the side of the boat and I was just looking out the back and down, and then I just randomly saw the wheel spin, and then I looked at the wheel and it spun. And so I saw it and then saw it again. And I was like, oh shit, it actually happened. And then the accident happened. So I went flying and everything. And I don't know if that's brain damage or not. But I do feel like I saw, like, it's like something went prepared for this to happen.
Yeah, most likely.
I had a car accident probably 5 years ago, where in my old car, this is how Bono and I know each other. We both crashed the same car, or the same,
Yeah, I get you.
I had a dream not long before that where it was the exact same situation where I got around it and then something woke me up. I went back to sleep. I got around him, but I lost a wing mirror.
Yeah.
Something woke me up. I went around, I ran smack bang into the back of him, and something on the top of his car came off through the windshield and killed me.
Yeah.
And it was the exact same situation, but only one of those moments matched up where I hit the back of the car. I almost got around him, but I hit the back of the car.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, and my initial shock was, and I didn't know how to explain this to emergency services without sounding like a nut job.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there trying to process the fact that I had seen multiple snippets of the same situation maybe weeks beforehand and couldn't connect the dots because it was just that exact moment, nothing before, nothing after.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't connect the dots between the two, and I sat there racking my brain for so long that it wound me up that badly.
Wow.
And I just couldn't put two and two together.
Well, okay, it's a bit stupid, but for people to watch this and understand, like Doctor Strange is like latest movie, how there's different realities. What if you just experience that happening in different realities, and then so the one that kills you,
and it's like a little peek into the other reality.
Yeah, it's just a peek into the reality. Like, what if that's a thing?
Like,
Now,
I've
now
got something I can.
like that makes sense.
Because
what were you going to say, Aqua?
I've got something I can add on to that as well as like, I had I regularly have nightmares and dreams. It's a regular thing for me. The most vivid and weirdest experience I've had was like I've only ever heard a voice in my dreams once.
Yeah.
Once. Right. In my nightmare, I was getting choked like a hooded figure, like you couldn't see their face or anything. Full hands around the neck. I heard my deceased sister's voice, "Wake up, Austin."
Yeah.
I woke up gasping for breath, cold sweat.
Wow.
That's actually called oppression, brother, and I actually wouldn't mind trying to investigate that a bit, because to me, that's when I was a child, that's what happened to me. I got like held down and choked, but I was like awake, like I could physically see this thing. And then the next night, my mother got dragged out of her bed by her leg, and we were out of that house, and we had to get like full blessings and everything done and everything. But like, I've helped people who said the same thing. They're constantly getting nightmares, constantly. It was a regular thing, and then they said the same thing. They were getting attacked in their dream, and then a deceased family member's voice would come through and tell them to wake up or snap out of it, or you're stronger than them, or and quite literally, your sister probably just saved your soul. Because if you'd have given up in that situation and just like let it happen, more than likely you probably would have become possessed. And that's how they do it. So they'll beat you down and make it so hard for you to get sleep that you're just ready to give up on everything. And then they'll then try and attack you for one last time. And then you go, okay, I give up. I can't do this anymore. And then that's when possession happens. So it's lucky that you're such a, like, naturally such a standoff, like, fuck off, don't fuck with me kind of dude. Because, like, if you didn't have that nature, you probably would have been long gone a long time ago.
And like Aqua was saying, I've had a very similar experience. Like, my great aunt was Down syndrome, and she wasn't meant to live past 6. She died at 65. And she lived with my nan and pop, and I remember I'd gone to go play. I went over one day to go play lawn bowls with my grandfather, and I had a competition game the next day, so my grandfather was going to take me. So I'd stayed there that night. And this was after my great aunt had passed away. And I had my headphones there. I woke up with, at one point, like, not woke up, but became aware of my surroundings at one point with what felt like a cord wrapped around my neck. And there was 2 figures standing by the door. And one of
notice
them
how, real quick, sorry to interrupt, but notice how everyone's story, there's always a figure. It's not it's not just like a reoccurring thing. It's like it's not. I mean, so it's not coincidence. It's Notice how everyone's story that they have is similar to this. Everyone says a dark figure or 2 dark figures or 3 dark figures, and it's always a dark figure. They never say anything else.
Yeah.
What I picked there was one was because where I was sleeping that night was where my great aunt used to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was a very similar stature to my great aunt. And to provide a little context, my great aunt one day, I was staying there, I was watching a movie, and my great aunt mistook me for an intruder one day and started beating me with a towel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which in hindsight was actually pretty fucking funny.
A towel of all things.
Like started beating me with a towel. But there was a very similar stature with what looked to be a towel standing there facing out of the room with this other figure that was almost like your skeletal Reaper sort of like envision a skeletal Grim Reaper.
A lot of demons look like that. Yeah.
She was standing, I can only assume it to be her, was standing there staring at her, and the only thing I heard was, "It's bloody bullshit, you bastard." And that's something she said a lot.
Yeah, because if she's got that mental...
And she used to go, "Oh, it's bloody bullshit, you bastard."
Yeah, well, if she's got that mental like if she had, as you said, Down syndrome, right? Paranormal attack disabled people quite often. In fact, that's actually what I put down to having random attacks of just like outbursts of being in a sudden panic, like they're about to die. I swear it's because the paranormal pick on them because they're a weaker human in an essence. And it's an easy target for them. It's why they pick on children quite a lot, is because children are more susceptible, they're more open-minded, so when they see things, they don't necessarily just dismiss it straight away. And I think the disabled people have the exact same trait. I think that they don't dismiss what they're seeing, and they can get influenced very easily by these entities that have quite a fair bit of power to them. Because if you see, as you mentioned, they were staring at her, and she's carrying on like that. That to me is connect the dots, right? So look at her as a puppet at that point, and they're watching her because they're controlling what she's doing.
Well, they were in that instance, like I remember it that vividly, like I can't forget that moment.
Yeah.
I woke up feeling like I was being choked. And it was those two standing there. And like it's something I've never been able to explain, and I've never been able to say out loud without sounding like a nut job.
Honestly, yeah, I've experienced something very similar too.
I think that's why my Twitch channel is such a, like, I've built such a community so rapidly, is because of exactly what Rydesy said right at the end there, is I've never been able to talk openly about this without somebody thinking I'm crazy or telling me I'm stupid or, you know, and that's why my channel was so successful, I guess, in its first 6 months, was because people were able to come and sit there and talk with other people and share these experiences and understand that they're not crazy and that it happens to more than just them. It's been happening to hundreds of people, and it's a regular thing that people just naturally want to dismiss because the human brain cannot fathom that something that they can't see can physically touch them and hurt them, right? So that's what it all comes down to. Anyway, guys, unfortunately, we've got to wrap this up. I've got to get on with going out later on and stuff like that. So I wanted to thank you guys so much on a bit of short notice. I know you two, Tatted and Aqua, were kind of booked in from earlier in the week, but I wanted to thank you, especially Ridesy, for making an appearance to make it a four-man podcast, because we always prefer it when there's 4 conversations. It's just always better to have those 4 opinions, I think. And I just wanted to really express my appreciation, because it was looking like we weren't going to get anyone. Everyone just kept saying they were going to do it and then not showing up. And so I really wanted to thank you for that. And if you guys have anything that you guys want to plug, just go ahead. Anything coming up that you're thinking of doing, or any change in stream schedules, anything like that, just fire away. If not, I'll drop their link, your links down below in the description for everyone to go and check out your socials and your Twitch platforms, and we can let everyone go and check out what you guys do. So, thank you guys so much.
I'd like to make a return to streaming.
Sorry?
I'd like to make a return to streaming. I'm thinking probably Friday and Saturday, but with my work schedule, who knows?
Yes.
Well, no, it's all good. We're open, though.
Yeah.
We can do collabs and everything, man. We're open.
Yeah, and make sure that you don't forget to go and get your Rogue Energy. Use code REACT to get 10% off. Fucking Aqua's been charging him down all day, so it's probably why he's only functioning. All right, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great night or day, and I'll see you guys later.